Escape the One Man Show podcast.
Welcome to Escape the One Man Show, where we help contractors stop running a job and start building a company. In today's episode, we were asked a question from one of the callers, a contractor who's doing about 1.5 million in revenue. And his question was simple. When do I get out of a truck? And when do I hire my first manager? And I want to talk about that one today because I'm sure at least half of you have asked that question to yourself about your business before. It could be, when do I hire more managers or higher level leadership, general manager, operations manager, just a service manager, office manager? Even at different levels, we ask ourselves, when's the next hire? When do I get the next leader in place? I know some businesses that are doing 10 million where the owner's still in a truck, and I'm not judging that person for that, right? If it works for you, it works for you. But most of the time, business owners want some stability while they're making good money. They want money and happiness and peace and time with their family. That's what I hear from most people. Now, that's not everyone, and I'm not saying that this advice is for everyone, but the honest, uncomfortable truth is most owners say they stay in a truck because it's about the money. And it's usually not about the money. It's usually about they do not trust anyone to do it as well as them. Let that resonate. I'm sure you've thought that before. And I'm sure you run a really good business. If you were a technician before, if you were a master plumber, you're a master electrician, and you run a really solid process in the field. It's probably something that nobody does. It's really great. It's probably a little bit complex though. And complexity is not something that's good in business. It's not scalable. It's not repeatable. So you're going to have a hard time as you hire your first technicians. You're going to probably say things like, man, you just can't hire good people. Just some people just don't want to work anymore because your system is probably too complex or you don't have a system processes. So it's really important that as soon as you can, get your systems and processes in place. Make sure they work. Make sure they're repeatable. Make sure they're simple. And then hire those employees, because every second that you're in a vehicle as a tech, as a field employee, you might be looking at it like, oh, well, I'm making revenue. Look at my profit and loss. We're making profit. That's a great thing. And then you're like, well, I'm not in the office. I don't need that thing. That thing's associated with overhead. And you have to look at the value of each task that you're completing in the business. There's a different value associated with different tasks. That's why people get paid different amounts for different positions. So you are assigning a ton of value to the field, which is great. But there's also value in the office. And that's why you might hear the statement that you need to work on your business and not in your business. Because if you want to grow faster, if you want to hire more people, if you want a business that runs on its own, you have to work on your business. And you have to make the transition from working in your business to on your business. And sometimes that's hard for people. Perfectionists, it's going to be really hard for people that like to do things a specific way, people that are earning a ton of revenue for the business and they are the master techs themselves. It's going to be really hard for you. But I'm telling you, make that transition as early as you can so you start running a really good process that's not dependent on you. Your business should not be dependent on you, your personality, your magical sales process. That's not repeatable. That is a one-man show. It's not a business. So I would recommend to the person that's doing 1.5 million to get out of the truck now, as soon as possible. And the second question, when do I hire a manager? I would hire that manager as soon as your tasks become so big where major things are not getting done. So I'll give you an example. Typically, they say your manager shouldn't be managing more than 10 people. Why? Why that number? Well, a good manager should be doing one-to-ones, performance evaluations, ride-alongs. You should be handling some of the meetings, tracking the KPIs, giving some coaching, some training for your people. Might be running a morning sales training or technical training. But once you hit that 10 threshold, you start losing the quality of management on those people and you're just not available. And then they feel like you don't care about them and you will lose people. The number one reason why people quit their job is due to poor management. Look it up. It's the number one reason. So again, overhead. Oh, I don't want to hire a manager because of overhead. Well, you're not realizing that you're leaking money out of your business anyways with all the people that are quitting. You're not retaining people. And then you're leaning back to a one-man show, frustrated, and you give up and you go back to just doing everything yourself. And then you're wearing 20 hats and you're stressed and your family's stressed. You have no personal life and there's nothing to look forward to other than money while you have no peace and no happiness. So I don't recommend that for you. So I would hire a manager as soon as those high-level tasks become so big, things that should be getting done, important things are not getting done. Because if you're at 1.5 million and you're still running calls in a truck, you you are the highest paid technician at your company. And think about it. What is your time worth as the owner versus what you could pay a technician that you hire? But really, at the end of the day, there is no magic number of when you should get out of a truck or when you should hire a manager. It's not 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. It really has to do with when you have a good enough structure to sustain your absence from the field to be able to get out of that truck. That is the most important thing. And then obviously you're going to need the revenue to support that manager. But wouldn't it be even better if you had some sort of system and processes when you get that manager into your business? Because everyone thinks they can just find the magical unicorn manager that's been in the trades for 20 years and they're just going to come in and they're going to be an amazing manager. And that's so false. I can tell you I've hired at least 30 trades managers from experienced companies, and they're all companies you've heard of. And their resumes were amazing and they were freaking horrible because there's no training that really goes on in the trades for leadership and management. There's just not. It doesn't happen. So these people are used to really poor cultures and really bad systems. And they're just now bringing that into your business. So if you don't have that already down pat or something in place, they're just going to push their way because that's how they've solved problems before. And that's not going to work. I would rather you hire somebody with good character, good morals, they care about your business and your customers, and train them to become a leader in your business. I did that. All the leaders that I have now, 90% of them did not come from the trades, started in lower positions, had leadership skills, worked their way up, and they worked out. And they're amazing managers and leaders, and their people love them. And guess what? They learned the trades. It's not that hard. It took some time, but they learned the trades. Because again, the people that come in that say they know the trades, they might not know the trades. They could lie on their resume. They could do things very differently at the other company. So to the contractor who's doing 1.5 million who sent this question, the real question is not, can you afford to get out of the truck and hire a manager? The real question is, can you afford not to? Every day you stay in that truck is a day that the business stays the same. Thank you for joining me on Escape the One Man Show. See you on the next episode. If you're a contractor or a business owner that has questions about their business, call the Escape the One Man Show line at 321-495-7788. Leave your name, company, location, and your question, and I may feature it and answer it on the next episode. Thanks.